folks. I'm Craig Lipinski.
Y me llamo Seth Tomas Castello.
And I'm Chris Dunn.
And you're listening to episode 18 of Ludowave Radio, the smooth sounds of video game talk. And I'm still unemployed, which is thus ends week 7 of being unemployed today. And I got this packet in the mail from the state. It's 7 pages worth of forms I have to fill out to just because to shame me, I guess.
It just like reaches a point where they're like, "Here's your piece of shit package. It's been 7 months. You're officially a piece of shit."
Weeks. Unemployment actually doesn't last for 7 months.
Whatever.
You're not contributing to society, Craig. Either way, it doesn't matter.
So you have to get all nitpicky with the details.
Yeah, so I have to fill out this packet, and I have to register on the state of Connecticut's job boards.
Piece of shit board? Oh, okay.
Specifically their job boards. It's not good enough that I'm using LinkedIn, Indeed, and Monster. I have to use theirs.
You know, those companies are fucking right after that state unemployment job boards for those employees. Got good wages coming in there.
Well, it's really intimidating because one of the forms says right at the top, your answers to these questions will determine your continued eligibility. And then it asks you questions like, what shifts are you willing to work? And it's like first shift, second shift, third shift. What's the earliest you're willing to go into work? What's the latest you're willing to stay? What's the bare minimum wage you're willing to accept? How far are you willing to travel? And it's
Are there rude follow-up questions? Why aren't you willing to take third shift, Craig?
Well, that's what it feels like. It may not be that, because I mean honestly, it would feel a little more friendly if it asked, "Are you willing to work third shift?" You know, are you? Right. I don't know. What is your desired salary versus what's the bare minimum you'll accept to get the fuck off the government teat? It's just the framing of the questions and then telling you that your answers will determine your eligibility without telling. I mean, it's like a test that you don't know what the wrong answers are to, and then I have to go to this 3-hour class. I had to do the class. I was unemployed 5 years ago or something like that, and I had to go to a class then. I didn't have to do these 7 pages worth of forms, but I go to this class, show my resume. Honestly, the class and stuff and the resume checking and all that, they have all these resources. And it's actually kind of cool for people who need it. I was in this class and, there are people there that hadn't been unemployed since Bush won. And that's great. I'm glad that taxes pay for those people to get that help. I showed the guy my resume. He's like, you don't need my help. And I'm like, no fucking shit. Can I go home now? It feels like you're being, nannied, which I don't like. I don't think people on any sort of government assistance should be nannied. I mean, it kind of saps your dignity, I feel like. Maybe I shouldn't feel that way, but it does feel that way.
That would not be a problem for me.
Oh.
Be like, dignity? What dignity? Well, just give me my fucking money.
Well, especially unemployment benefits, because, I mean, again, I don't think anyone should have to be put through this bureaucratic shit, but unemployment benefits is... your employer pays those when you're employed. That's a tax levied against your employer. My neighbor is not paying for this. It's not an individual tax SNAP or temporary assistance for needy families. It's not like one of those. It's part of your condition of being employed. So this is my unemployment check. I earned this by going to work for 4 years and then getting let go for no good reason. It's mine.
To get bugged after only 7 weeks seems insane to me, because I mean that's nothing. It's not even seriously 2 months,
right? Because I mean you have to fill out an initial form, and this time they let me. It was all online, which was nice because last time I had a call. I had to wait on hold for 3 hours. Then they had to set. That was just to set up the time to do the hearing, which was basically a bunch of questions that could have been on a form. And then they're like, congratulations, you got unemployment. This time, I filled out all those questions were a form online. I filled them out. And I got a text message saying, cool, you get your money. And, like, that was it. I'm like, oh, this is really easy. And then I got this 7 pages. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you nailed the one part and you fucked it up on the other. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you think? I want to do this? Like, I'd rather. Yes, I mean, given the choice between being unemployed and being nannied to death, and trading my labor and skills to a capitalist millionaire and just to enrich him, I guess I'd rather take the latter. But come on, man. You're paying me like half of what I was making at my job. Like, let's calm down. You're not doing me any great favors.
This is just like a whole lot of excuses for why you're a drain on society, Craig.
I know. I know. I'm deflecting. You're right.
Yeah, you are.
I should talk about this with my therapist.
Your intern?
My intern, yeah.
She's probably like looking for paid employment too.
I think she's sticking this one out.
All right.
I think good for her. Good for her. I don't know how you make it in Connecticut without getting a paycheck, but God bless you.
Maybe it's a paid internship.
It's not. We had this discussion.
Oh,
yeah,
well.
no, like when I was let go, I said, like I may have to stop going. And she's like, well, I talked to my boss and they're gonna cut your rate in half. And I said, is that okay with you? And she's like, oh, I don't get paid anything, so don't matter to me.
Well, so I was with my therapist because I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. I was like, oh, I almost forgot the $10. He's like, oh yeah, I forget to collect these all the time because I don't get any of it. I was like, oh, okay.
Don't matter to him.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to vent that much about unemployment. It's just I got that packet. It just really bothered me. But other than that, I've been trying to be constructive with my time, looking for jobs, studying Japanese, trying to cram in there what will actually stick in my 35-year-old brain, and practicing my watercolors.
Mm-hmm.
And been doing some okay stuff, I think. I don't know if you guys have seen them on the Twitters or.
Nope.
I have. You're doing some cool stuff.
Name something pretty.
I just did.
What's your favorite thing?
You remember that? Actually, one of the things I did today. You remember that when you were playing Overwatch on that free weekend, you played as that hacker Sombra. I just did a piece with her today, and it came out pretty good.
I'm totally going on your Twitter right now to look at this.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to judge it harshly.
That's and we're going to wait right here. Because I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear how terrible or how great I am, or more realistically, like how mediocre it is.
I think it's some good stuff. Like I see it on Twitter and I'm like, hey, that's cool. And then I see it on Facebook and I'm like, oh yeah, it's that cool thing. And then I go on Instagram and I'm like, Jesus, I've seen this like 3 times.
Well, the Instagram and the Facebook are linked to each other, so that's why.
I know.
But I would just post it like one place on Instagram. But when you link your Instagram with your Twitter, it doesn't post the picture.
It doesn't embed the image. Yeah.
Yeah, which is stupid. I don't like that.
I know, it sucks. I've stopped doing that. I used to like Instagram. That's the whole reason I joined Instagram, is because you could post things to both Twitter and Facebook, and it's like, oh, I can do this in one place and it's easy. But since it doesn't embed the image, like that's the whole point of using Instagram, is the image. I don't want to have to go use a link in Twitter to get to the picture.
Right.
Come on.
I really like your skeleton robot man in the picture.
That's Zenyatta.
Skeleton robot lady in the picture. No, I really like the color. I like everything except for Sombra's face. So just fucking torch the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I've been experimenting. Like part of the process is like trying to work with the watercolors. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, this looks ace, and then I'll get to a part where like I just put too much water on the page, and everything goes, and there's like this swirly Lake Erie in the middle of the page, and I'm like, fuck. So I'm working on the watercolors, but also working on like a style. And trying to work within my limitations. So, like, faces, for one, I can't fucking do faces. You look at anything I've done, anything I've ever done. I've done tons of acrylic paintings where I just do the contours on the face. It just looks like a potato on some shoulders, and, like, that's the face. I won't do any details because I can't do faces.
I liked the face that you drew for, like, your own avatar that you had for a while. Or it was like just the glasses and the furry hair everywhere. And
there was no face. There was just glasses on some hair. I look like cousin fucking It. Like that was the avatar.
This manta ray is fucking ace, though. What is that from? Is that from anything?
I've been playing with a prompt generator, and I went to the animals tab, and the first one was like a racehorse, and I'm like, great, this is just gonna be like a dog, bird, and then I click next, and it's like a stingray that lives permanently in the clouds, and I'm like, oh, I can fucking do that. But I made it a manta ray instead of a stingray because stingrays aren't as graphically appealing, I think.
Yeah, they suck. Actually, it sort of looks more like a devil. What's the difference between a devil ray and a manta ray?
Oh, I don't know if there is a difference. I just know it's not a stingray as the prompt suggested.
It's definitely not a stingray because those are like round or diamond shaped usually.
Right.
Anyways, I love that one. That one's like really, really
Thank
good.
you.
Because it does not have a human face involved.
There is no human face involved with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the somber face is like, oh, looks like fucking Charlie Brown. This
it's like Tintin.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like a Tintin face, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Tintin face.
So like the manta ray one and the somber one, I was just doing like line work, and then I did one of Hanette from Octopath Traveler on Monday. And that was another style I'm playing with where it's like heavy shadows, like heavy lines and heavy like comic book sort of style shadows. She also has a dumb face. She also has a Tintin face for the record. I also made her beefy too because I'm playing as Hanette and you look at like her art and she's like this super thin like waif. And I'm like, she's a fucking hunter. She gotta wrestle bears. Are you fucking kidding me? She weighs like 98 pounds. No, I beefed her up.
Nice.
With a Tintin face, but
with a Tintin face. That's how you intimidate the bears. That's step one.
Exactly right. Yes, that's when they know you mean business with those beady eyes.
Oh man,
so good, so good. All right, well, I've been prattling on for 12 minutes. Thanks for indulging me, Seth.
Yeah, no, I've been deflecting because I haven't done shit this week or last 2 weeks. Whatever, I don't know. I'm out of it. So. I was sleeping up till like 5 minutes before it was time to podcast.
Did you take a nap after
work? I don't even know what's going on. Yeah, like just like a quick 30-minute nap, just because I'm so fucking tired. And then I get on here, I'm like, aha, and I have to pretend like I'm all like not dying from like lack of sleep, but it's okay because I'm good at it.
Is that a thing? Dying from lack of sleep?
Of course, you could die from anything.
Okay.
Lack of sleep.
Excuse me.
Sleep.
Sharks. Anything could kill you. Who knows?
Sharks I was aware of.
Flying manta rays.
That dude looks so friendly. He's not killing anybody.
No, he's a very benevolent manta ray.
I don't like. He's the only one I've seen though, so I guess there might be murderous ones out there.
Well, I guess Seth is up to nothing. Chris, how have you been? It's been a little while, Chris. How have you been?
I've been pretty good. Jackie's out of town she's been out for 5 days now, and I am completely alone, and I'm so glad for this human interaction. Smokey's been barking for about the last 5 minutes, and I've been trying to mute it, so hopefully that does not make for brilliant radio in this episode.
Have not heard the dog.
Yeah.
I muted Skype, and I muted the recording, so hopefully it does not screw up somehow. I've been good. Been just very busy. Like, I was kind of looking forward to having some time to, play video games or whatever while Jackie's been gone. And this week I've had a bunch of work stuff to do, which sounds super braggy knowing your situation, Craig,
I know, must be nice.
I'm looking forward to, digging into some stuff this weekend, but it's been good. Just not a whole lot to report. I feel like every week it's like, I worked a whole bunch. But that's really it. I went to Vegas a couple weeks ago for work, which was cool. Like, it's nice to get to go places, but I literally we stay in the hotel and then we go to the convention center, and you literally don't go outside walking from the hotel to the convention center. And then I walk back to the hotel at the end of the day, and it's like I haven't been outside at all, which on the one hand is nice because it's like 110 degrees out in Vegas in June, but
was about to say, Vegas sucks outside in the summer, like, unless it's, like, the middle of the night.
It sure does, but, like, after walking through the casinos and the filtered air and everything, it's like I want some fresh air, even if it's, disgusting, dry heat.
Oh, yeah, casino air is so fucking gross.
And then, I was looking forward to coming back to Milwaukee and getting, back to where it's cold or at least reasonable. And it was about 95 degrees when I got back, but also humid, so it was almost worse. But that was weeks ago. I'm good now. Just lots of work stuff, but playing some games and enjoying the bachelor life. Went and saw that Mr. Rogers movie. Went to the library. Lots of bachelor stuff.
You sound like a
crazy.
fucking nerd.
That's the joke, Craig.
Oh
yeah, I got your dog care package.
Yeah?
In the mail. Yeah, those biscuits are not very tasty.
Did you try them?
Yeah, I always try dog food.
I haven't tried the biscuits.
wait! I have to know if you're being facetious right now.
No, I always try I'm not going to try wet dog food or something where it's like
this elbow's great.
mystery organs. Like dog food biscuits all have this aftertaste to them. They're like, oh, this is all right, and then they got this aftertaste that I can only describe as dog food biscuit aftertaste, and it's not very pleasant. Dogs love it though. I don't know what's up with
I wonder
that,
how that's. Because what do dogs eat? What do wolves eat? Just meat. So what? How could dog food biscuits be formulated in such a way that dogs are this is great, and you're like, eh?
Man, most dogs are so removed from wolves. Have you seen a
that's
pug?
A fair,
that thing's
yeah.
That thing's a bat.
Don't get me started on pugs, dude. Do not get me started.
That thing is a bat. It is not even wolf related.
Every domesticated dog has evolved from the gray wolf. And then somehow humans managed to develop fucking pugs out of the gray wolf. Fucking miss me with that shit, man. I'm gonna hang on to my cats.
I was reading how the pugs are so misbred now. They they literally can't breathe. They got the soft palate that's closing up. Their noses aren't open at all. They're literally dying. That's why they're always because they are suffocating just actively all the time.
Yeah.
I
think it's a lot of inbreeding. I think that's what causes it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
probably.
problem with all those dogs. German Shepherds got their fucked up hips, and I don't know, labs are all deaf and dumb and stuff.
Oh, you mean? Oh man,
Anyway.
even the good ones are fucked up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure even the good ones are fucked up.
I think Dalmatians are notoriously known for so many of them being deaf.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I love German Shepherds. I'm not gonna have a dog, but if I ever did, it'd be because I want a fucking dog. I want something that's the exact fucking opposite of a cat, and I want a German Shepherd. I want a big fuck off dog.
Hip dysplasia is the big one.
Yeah,
they're
but
doing that
Aki's a Maine Coon. They have that problem too because it's just big.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you didn't enjoy the biscuits.
The dog liked them.
Oh, good.
I let her have the leftovers.
There's some consolation with this package, I guess.
I have eaten more pieces of dog food than I would care to admit, but I guess I just admitted it, so.
Yeah, I have, like I said, no shame, no loss of dignity anywhere here, so I fucking munched down.
I think I tasted a milk bone when I was a child. It was sort of chalky almost, I guess. Just very dry.
Yeah.
But it was a bite, and then it was sand in my mouth, and I'm bleh, and then I was I'm never doing this again.
Yeah. I think it was last year. I was at a trade show. I was at a party with work people, and we had just released a new dog food, a new kibble. And my boss was like, "Oh yeah, you can eat it," and he ate one. So the rest of us who work for him all felt like we had to do it too. So we all ended up eating a bunch of kibble.
I love how corporate dog food people get wild and crazy at the corporate party, eating their own fucking product.
Damn right.
Save some for the dogs, man.
We saved plenty for the dogs. I did not eat the whole bag, I promise. As much as I may have wanted to.
Just a bowl full.
That's right. Anyway,
It's
enough
Yukon
about me
Husky
eating dog
game.
food.
Yeah, let's talk about some video games. All right, so I have been playing Overwatch, of course. I finished Assassin's Creed Origins, and I fucking liked it.
How long did that take you to beat this video game?
My quest log said I finished, I think, 71 quests, and I spent just about 47 hours. But there's whole swaths of fucking Africa that I didn't touch. Like, there's just, like, clouds, like... It's like glitch. It's like an animus glitch over those parts of the map, and I just never went there. I didn't do any chariot races. I didn't do any Colosseum gladiatorial combat. There are like giant Egyptian bosses, like gods, that appear as like animus glitches. Didn't touch none of that. There's just a lot of that game I didn't touch. It's just so fucking big. It's so big. It's too big. I mean, if I was a teenager, like if I was just like 17. And I saved up and bought, like, this game at $60, just like the vanilla base game, I would have been in love. Because that's not even touching, like, the DLC either.
I was just thinking, like, earlier today about, like, how when I was a teenager, like, I'd buy a game, like, once every couple months and just dive into it, you know?
Right. And in that way, Assassin's Creed Origins is fantastic for that. You know, if you're just looking for, like, the volume of content... and some of it's pretty good. I mean, a lot of the quests, you know, boil down to three things. Investigating an area for clues, fetching an item, or killing dudes. And usually it's some combination of things, and usually it involves killing dudes. But I'm really impressed with, like, the wrappers they put around that. There's a lot of... for as many quests as there are, like I said, I finished 71, and that's maybe half of them. I don't know. There's definitely a lot more. And just the narrative context they provide around each one, there's a lot of time and thought put into that. I was really kind of impressed. And by the end of the game, I got to say, I mean, not all the writing in that game was stellar, but some of it was not half bad. I can't lie. Like, I would love to sit here and keep bad mouthing Assassin's Creed, but I can't.
You love Assassin's Creed now, Craig.
I really enjoy...
It's your favorite video game series.
No, but Origins, I really did enjoy it.
Top three video games.
The only thing I didn't like in that game is, like, the naval combat. And thankfully it's compartmentalized. Like, there are just certain segments where you have to, like, be on a boat and then, like, do naval combat in, like, 42 BCE, which is really fucking stupid. I don't want to do it. And sometimes it forces you to play as the main character's wife, which I get because there's in the story there's a lot of emphasis put on her. Like, she is her own developed character, and she's an interesting character. So it's not just tacked on. I just don't want to fucking play as her. Like, you have a fixed loadout with her, and I'm like, I don't want to use these weapons. These aren't mine. So
does she kill people too?
Oh yeah, no, she's an assassin. This is like how the assassin brotherhood is set up, how it's formed.
You just get in this brotherhood and they just hook you up with an assassin wife?
You and your wife are the first assassins.
Oh, you're the first two.
Yeah.
Now, like, was one of you an assassin, and then, like, you introduced it as, like, a fun hobby of yours, and the other one got interested in it?
Well, maybe. I mean, right,
assassins?
Yeah.
Assassin blind date.
Like swinger parties.
And you just happened,
like, what if we just fucked other people? Like, now we do that. It's fine. No, they pose it as, like, the main character, Bayek, is what's called a medjay, which is, like, just sort of like a cop. He's a Egypt cop. And
okay.
I think it's implied that she is as well. Aya is his wife, is as well. And their son was murdered by, like, a political organization. And so the whole game is them using their connections and abilities as Magi to take down this organization, which eventually culminates in, spoilers, murdering Julius Caesar, and then telling Cleopatra, you better straighten the fuck up or we're going to fucking kill you too. And then the game ending.
Is that what the gift of the Magi is? Is it assassination?
It's pronounced a lot like that. It's right. It's assassin. I got you a hidden blade.
The literal gift of the Magi.
It's spelled Medjay. So it's like Medjay, but they pronounce it like Medjai.
All right.
But nope, I liked it. I will most certainly be playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey at some point. Probably not at launch because they just drop in price so quick. But I liked it that much.
Wow.
And then I've also been playing Octopath Traveler, which I figured this would be a good segue because I figured at least one of you guys is playing that as well. Did I figure wrong?
Yeah,
he's like, I bought it. It's shrink wrapped, and I got the limited edition. It's sitting on my shelf.
I am like asshole deep in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 right now. I don't have time for another RPG.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about that. Okay, so I've been playing Octopath Traveler, and my opinion of it has improved. It's improved over time. Like the first time I was like, and the second time I'm like, yeah, this could be all right. And now I am really enjoying it. Because it picks up once you start adding more people to your party. But it's very. I mean, obviously I haven't finished it yet, but there's a rhythm to it, and maybe you could like it. But at the same time, it's just very predictable. Like you make it to the next town, you add one of these characters to your party, and the sequence is the same. You meet them. Their chapter 1 plays out as if you're not there, and you play through that, and then there's a cutscene, and then you play through their dungeon, you beat a boss, there's a cutscene, and then you move on. And that's the whole thing. Cutscene, dungeon, boss, cutscene, move on.
And you got to do that 8 times.
Yes. Yep. Before you can move on to any character's chapter. So you pick a character, and that becomes your lead character. Like, you can't switch off that character until you fit as a lead character until you finish their story. So the other 3 people in your team, you can switch in and out at any time as long as you have, more than 4 people.
Right.
But like your main characters, like every chapter 2 is like recommended level, like level 27, and that's kind of high.
Is that basically
sounds
playing
high.
through all 8 people's chapter 1?
Yeah, kind of. So, like, basically you have to, like, just make that pass through all the towns to get everybody before you can move on to your own chapter 2, and then probably make another pass through the chapter 2s. I think there's 4 chapters per character.
So, theoretically, you could just play through, like, 1 or 2 people's full stories, but in actuality, the way the leveling system works, you're not going to be strong enough to do
Yes.
that. Uh-huh.
So
sounds like bad game design to me.
it's very it's very strange, but it's interesting the way how you meet characters is organized. Because you can on the world map, you're in a town, and then you can either go leftish or rightish, and it'll take you to the next town and thus the next character. And the way it sets you up is that no matter which direction, no matter which character you start with, and no matter which direction you go in, it sort of builds you a decent party with decent skills. Like it's actually really smartly designed in that way. Like that's pretty clever. So there was some thought put into this system for sure, but it's very predictable. And I'm not.
That's the biggest thing I've heard is that a lot of it is predictable with you having to do the first chapter for these different characters, so many times. You can't progress until you've done so many first chapters. And the fact that the stories don't intersect so much, they sounds like they're very much independent, which was less interesting.
They're very independent. They don't. Not only does there seem to be, my understanding is from what I've heard. Again, I'm not that far. There is no overarching plot that ties everyone together. Mm-hmm. So not only is there not that, but there's no intersection while you're playing the game. So like when
that seems weird. That would just throw me off.
Right.
Especially considering that they force you to do these different stories so much.
Yeah, you have to do them in order to make progress in the character that you pick. In order to get to their chapter 2, you have to grind through all these other stories. Well, grinding, I use that loosely. Grinding makes it sound like it's tedious. It's not. But you do have to do these other stories before you can get to your own chapter 2 because you're just not high enough level. Right. But like when you get to these stories and you get to these other characters, their stories just pretend like you're not there.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
It's very strange.
It seems bizarre. I haven't played the game, so I don't know how it actually plays out. But every time I've heard about it, I'm like, wow, that sounds really, really off-putting.
But the writing is pretty good. They're pretty talkative. But like the writing is pretty. Like contrast this to what I was talking about with like Ease. I think it was the last episode. I ended up trading Ease in because I'm like, I can't do this. I'd rather just play Octopath. But there's a lot of talking in Octopath, and I wish there was less. But it's a little more bearable because the writing is a lot better. Like you can see that quality in writing is better. So there's good writing there. The combat it's a little slow in my opinion because like I was saying last episode, the way it's designed, you have to engage into the gimmicks of the system in order to get through combat. Otherwise, it's just slow. Otherwise, you're just banging your head against the wall. You have to engage in those systems in order to make it through even just regular battles. But it's fun. It's fun once you get going. Once you have more characters to work with. When you're playing with just one character, it's a fucking chore. But which is why to me, like the demos just did not work that well. But once you have more characters, that battle system really opens up and shines because there's more to work with there. Because everyone has all these different skills. They're all different. And the graphics, the bloom is outrageous, but there is this. What it does is, because not only does it have bloom in the center of the screen, it has these like this vignette, like this frame, this dark frame around the edges of the screen at the same time too. So you can't see anything in your periphery, and everything front and center is just washed out. But it turns out you can turn off, they call them corner shadows. You go in the settings, you can turn off corner shadows, and that vignette look goes away. And I'm like, oh my God, I can fucking see what I'm doing now. So that helps the visuals a lot. Because the visual style is really interesting, but then they do all this modern wizardry over it and ruin it. I don't know why they did that. I don't get it. But at least with that gone, there's still the bloom to contend with, but it looks a lot better. It's a lot more playable. But yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it.
Are you gonna stick with it? Are you gonna try to play through it, or are you just gonna do you think you're just gonna drop it at some point?
I may drop it at some point. You know, there does come a point where it's not because like the game got bad or anything, but it just comes a point where like, oh, I've invested 30, 40 hours into this, and I'm done. I'm done. That's just how I play games sometimes. And there's a steady release of games through the end of the year. Particularly role-playing games and adventure games that I want to play on the Switch. You know, there's Okami, there's The World Ends With You, there's Tales of Vesperia, there's Pokemon. All these are coming out steadily, and it's hard to say, you know, what I'm going to stick with and what I won't. But I like it well enough to, you know, to have my opinion, despite, you know, having these grievances about the game, have my overall outlook on it turn around. And yeah, I do. I am enjoying it.
All right. I will check it out at some point once I'm done with Xenoblade.
It's a good call.
In 2 years, however fucking long this game is.
It's a big fucking game.
Yeah, obviously. Is that it? Should I talk about Xenoblade?
Yeah, why don't you talk about Xenoblade?
All right. I looked up, because I'm like, I think 100 hours into this game now.
Holy shit.
By the way. And I was looking up like how long it takes to beat this game on howlongtobeat.com, and I think it said like the main story is 65 hours, and just like the main story plus side quest is like 170 or something ridiculous like that. So I don't even like. There's a big jump, and then that's like not even like completionist or whatever, which is another tier up. But I don't even know, like, I'm on the 8th country now. I finally got my last party member. There's 5 party members that you could get in this game. I think I got my last one at, like, around this 80-hour mark. So that's kind of insane as far as RPGs go. And then that kind of sucks, too, because at that point, like, you got to load him up with, like, blades and stuff, because he's got nothing. He's got, like, he comes with one blade. I'm like, all right, well, now I got to try to fucking get some good blades for this guy, because the blade system's completely random if you're going to get a good blade, which are the rare blades, quote unquote, or just like a shitty throwaway blade that you don't care about except for merc missions. So like a lot of that's just sitting there going through your core crystals going like, nope, this is a shitty blade, nope, this is a shitty blade, nope, this is a shitty blade. So I think that's maybe where a lot of the time comes from in this game, because there's a lot of like just time wasting stuff like that where it's just I don't know. There
is a lot of sifting through the menus and optimization.
Yeah, exactly. And what was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah. And then for the rare blades, I think there's close to 30 of them all in the game. And apparently, like, each one possibly, or at least a lot of them, have their own like side quests in the game that pop up. So I've been like going through some of those for the ones I have, and some of them are like really fucking long, involved side quests, like close to an hour long, maybe. I did one for there's this big round rabbit-looking thing named Boreas in the game, and I did a side quest with him where I had to got into a burglar competition with another burglar named Yum Yum the burglar. And I was like,
Yum Yum.
Yum Yum the
Burglar off of Yum Yum the burglar.
It was the most ridiculous thing.
Rubble.
Like first, basically.
Why did you even enter this? Like, with a name like Yum Yum, of course he's going to win the burglar contest.
I didn't know what was going... Like, the quest didn't even start with that. The quest started with, like, an eating competition in a tavern, and then it went to, like, Boreas accidentally stealing a statue somehow, and then Yum Yum the burglar entered the picture. All right? And I don't... Like, they're fun, though. Like, they're interesting, and, like, if they keep getting fun ones for, like, every single blade, like, I might stick with them. I'm doing another one now with, I can't even remember the name. She's a water blade, and she's very like queen-like, and she hangs out in a bathtub, like literally, like while you're walking around. If you ever select it, she's just floating around in her bathtub. And I did one where she accidentally like bought in an island, a quote-unquote tropical island with a mansion and everything, but it's just like this little tiny parcel of land in the middle of nowhere, and I want to see where that quest is going to. But they're like just stupid fun little side quests, and there's lots of them, and I'm having fun with them, so I'm just doing that right now. In the main story, I got to like basically what this game's Vatican is, and there's like a big holy religious figure, and I'm like, this is a fucking JRPG, so that dude's probably evil, and I'm gonna bring down this entire religion or something, because that's how I don't think I've ever played a JRPG where there's like a big giant religion where like it's not evil. I don't know what Japan has against these things. I don't know, but yeah, I've just been playing this game night and day. And I set like a new high score in Donkey Kong. I think I'm ranked 20th now in the Japanese version of it.
God damn.
Yeah, fucking killing Donkey Kong.
We're all very proud of you.
Thank you. But that's me. That's all I've been up to: Xenoblade and sleeping.
Sleeping sounds good.
Christopher, have you played anything at all? I saw you playing Captain Toad. I fucking know you played something. I saw.
I did play some Captain Toad. I haven't played a ton of it yet, and I actually didn't play a ton of it on Wii U either, which is why I picked up the Switch version, because I own the game and I haven't finished it, so obviously I should buy a new copy of it.
Right. That's what I didn't finish it on Wii U either, and then I bought it on Switch.
I think I'll probably be more likely to play it with being able to play it on the go and stuff, but I really like this game. I like these, at least early on, the levels are pretty tiny, but they feel really dense. There's a lot of things to... Not even a lot of things to do, because there's you go and collect the star at the end of the level, and there's 3 diamonds you can collect throughout, but it feels like there's a lot of like little obstacles throughout, and it's not like you can just rush to the end of it.
That game, especially early on, that game has like a way of making me feel really stupid sometimes, because, like you said, the levels are really tiny, and then there'll be like a little cave or something that could seem like, how the hell am I supposed to get in there?
Right.
I'll be like lifting up rocks and everything, be like, how the hell? But yeah, no, that game can make me feel dumb.
Or like something that you like missed. You're like, this level's the size of a Triscuit cracker, but somehow I missed this fucking pathway over here.
Yeah. There's one level I played like 3 times trying to find, I think there was a hidden golden mushroom, and I still haven't found it. And there's only so many places it could be. I don't understand.
It's funny.
But I really like it. I'm looking forward to digging more into it.
Are you playing handheld or on your console?
I have mostly been playing handheld. I tried playing on the console, and all right, there goes
Smokey.
my dog. I don't like the cursor that appears on the screen.
That was my dog.
At least go upstairs
Shit.
and bark. All right, at least he went upstairs. Hopefully he'll...
Sorry, guys, my cat is acting up.
Hopefully if he barks from upstairs, at least we won't be able to hear him. The cursor that appears when you're playing on the TV is really weird to me.
Why is that there?
I don't know. It seems like you should be able to like push a button and have it appear.
Yes, that's like the reasonable thing to happen.
Yeah, I played the demo actually when I was on my plane on the way to Vegas, and then when I got the final version of the game and I played it on the TV, I was like, "What is this? I don't remember this from the demo." And that's because I played the demo handheld mode, and it did not even occur to me. But like, that just seems really strange choice to have.
That's what you get for putting your Switch on the dock.
No, my Switch has not left my dock since I got
That's
it.
incredible to me because mine's never
Seriously,
fucking touched it.
No, like when the very first Splatoon beta, whatever, went up, I brought my Switch to work so I could play it because it was like at lunchtime, so that was like perfect for me to play the Splatoon 2 beta. But since then, now this thing has not come out of the dock.
Wow. I guess I'm a mix. I do both, but I'd say I do more handheld than I do docked.
All right.
But having the option, I think, is pretty great. But that's just me.
I sure would like to have the option of not having that goddamn cursor on the screen.
I
Captain
100%
Toad.
agree with that, but that's why I've been playing handheld mode. That is actually literally the reason I switched to handheld mode. I was like, this is weird. I'm going to pull it out of the dock.
Yeah, I might play this. I might play Captain Toad handheld just because of that goddamn cursor.
I got it for 3DS, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
My name's Craig. I'm buying my video games for 8-year-old hardware.
Totally am. It's like a TI 89 graphing calculator.
It's kind of amazing that they managed to get a Wii U game like Captain Toad on there, and it looks like it runs pretty well. I mean, I haven't played the 3DS version, but
Have you actually fired it up?
I haven't. I've been buying all these 3DS games, and I haven't touched my 3DS in God knows how long. I'm gonna though. I do plan on it. That and Sushi Striker. I do actually want to check out here pretty soon. I'm actually impressed that it's not only is it a Wii U game running on the 3DS, but it's in stereoscopic 3D.
yeah.
Like,
they actually put that in there.
Yeah, well, because
still.
usually they sacrifice that to get some more, oomph out of the processor. But apparently they could do the game and 3D.
Yeah, I would say like 3/4 of the games these days coming on 3DS don't have the 3D effect.
Are they even still selling 3DSs anymore, or is it all 2DSs?
I saw one at a Best Buy the other day. So
My Target still has the
still
Galaxy 3DS.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one
I think I've seen
at,
that one.
That's the one I saw at Best Buy. Maybe it was Target. I have no
Yeah, I
idea.
think I see that at Target regularly now that you mention it. I did just get that Hylian Shield 2DS XL because I'm a sucker and I need all the Zelda 3DSs.
How many 3DSs do you have? Chris?
7, I want to say. Not as many as Craig, but enough that my wife is not thrilled about it.
I have I have 9. So I'm up there. it's not that many more than you.
Yeah.
I think I have 3. And that's like one of them's a Japanese one, so I can play Japanese games. So that's like kind of a somewhat necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have all the Zelda ones, and I have I think one of like each model. So I have the original 3DS, the XL, the new 3DS, the new 3DS XL, 2DS, 2DS XL, and I think there were 2 of one of them for some reason.
Do you have all the Zelda faceplates for the new 3DS?
No, I just have one. I have the like dark black Triforce one. I wanted to get that Majora's Mask one, but missed out on it.
I have that one.
Rub it in.
I have one of every model,
imported.
and then I have a Japanese Shin Megami Tensei 4 one, so I can play my Japanese games, and then I have the Princess Peach European one, the Choto Princess Peach.
Right.
And then
I wanted that one.
yeah, I have it, bitch. That bitch was impromptu. I really wasn't going to do that when I started that,
That was
sentence,
awesome,
but
though.
then it
You
sounded
nailed
good.
it.
And then for some reason, I also have like a launch Cosmo Black. I think my friend gave it. I think he gave me like a box of games, and like this box 3DS was just in the bottom. I was like, yeah, whatever. All right, I guess I'll keep this.
Yeah. There were
I gave
definitely
my-
like 3 other 3DSs I have had along the way that I don't have anymore. Like I don't have my launch one anymore.
Yeah, I gave my launch one away when I got my Fire Emblem Awakening one.
Yeah, I gave mine away when I got the Zelda one.
In terms of like playability with like bigger screens and like the C-stick and all that, obviously the launch one has been improved upon, but I really like aesthetically like the launch design, that layered design that they did. I really liked that.
They look like a cake, right?
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, if you notice that, like, both the DS and the 3DS, they launch with very distinct stylings, and then just completely said, nope, just a rounded rectangle after that.
Yeah. Because it's better.
In the case of the DS, yes. In the 3DS, could go either way.
That first DS was fucking shit.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not talking about
DS
the build
is not
quality. I mean, the
great.
build quality of the first DS. I mean, it was like little Tykes plastic, like Fisher Price plastic.
The screens were like
Screens
dim
were
as
bad.
hell.
Yeah, they were not bright.
I'm just talking about like the shape. Like it had that weird, like almost like
Right.
tent kind of shape, like the angles.
Yeah, it's got weird angles to it.
It looked like futuristic armor or something.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of.
folded
Right.
up.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Fucking remember.
I played Captain Toad. It was good. I didn't play it on 3DS, but we went off on a tangent.
Right.
I've also been playing Hollow Knight on Switch.
I want to get around
Which-
to that at some point. I haven't played that yet.
I like it. You know, I was looking forward to this for a while. It came out, I think, on PC like a year ago or a year and a half ago, maybe. And a lot of people were really hyping it up, you know, saying it's one of the best Metroid-style games ever, which I feel like is very high praise, given that I feel like there are a lot of Metroid-style indie games out there. And when you're comparing those to actual Metroid games made by Nintendo, or like Symphony of the Night and things like that, that's a very high bar to clear. And I'm maybe 15 hours in. I mean, and from what I hear, this is a pretty big game, and I have a ways to go. And I don't know that I think it's quite that good yet, but I like it a lot. It's, you know, it's a gorgeous game. That's the first thing that I noticed about it when I was, you know, looking at trailers and stuff. And that carries through the full game. And a lot of times when I'm looking at games and I'm like, oh, that looks really good, it's bright colors and fun stuff, because there's so much, you know, dark and gritty and realism and whatever, that I'm like, I don't need that. This is a dark game, but it's like it's super stylized and it's kind of cute and kind of creepy at the same time, which is a weird juxtaposition. But it's all hand drawn and 2D, but it feels like it has a depth to it. And I don't just mean, you know, it's got, you know, a background layer and a foreground layer, but the lighting really works well to make it feel like you're in an actual place and give it a sense of dimension. Which I don't know that you see in a lot of 2D games, and certainly not in a lot of low-budget indie games. And I don't know what the budget is on this game. I shouldn't speak to that, but it looks really good. I'm really impressed with the design and like the quality of the artwork, but also, you know, the design of it is just, it's all really wonderful.
I've heard it compared to both Metroid and to Dark Souls. Which of those games is it more like? Because that will determine whether I'm actually going to play this or not.
I haven't played Dark Souls, so that's a difficult comparison for me to make. I was waiting for the Switch version, and then that got delayed, so... It is a lot like Metroid. You know, it's got a big open world, and you can basically go anywhere you want. And it doesn't give you a lot of direction, which is something I think that is lost in a lot of these newer Metroid-style games. Even Nintendo's own Metroid games give you a little too much direction, and that there's a very specific path you're supposed to follow. And it seems like in Hollow Knight there are, you know, points you're supposed to hit. You know, you're supposed to go to A, B, C, D at some point throughout your journey, but you might not hit those in that exact order, and you might crisscross the entire world before you know, get between different points, whereas, you know, somebody else might go a completely different way.
Are you left like wondering and like trying to like figure? Because I don't want to like, I hate like backtracking and going across the map and going, was I supposed to go this way? Oh no, maybe not. Like, does it have some sense of direction?
There is not really a whole lot of direction. For me, I think, you know, early on it can be a little frustrating because it doesn't give you a whole lot of direction as to where to go. And I found myself just wandering around for a while. And eventually, you know, I found a boss, or I found, you know, some new abilities, and I had been around the world a little bit, and I was like, oh, I know exactly where to use this. You know, I know exactly, I've seen the place that I know I could get past if I had a new ability, and now that I have it, I know exactly where to go. So it doesn't give you that direction, but I think, like, once you find an ability, You know what to do with it. It's just a matter of figuring out exactly where that ability
Oh, okay,
is.
so that's pretty well communicated in terms of
I
the
think so.
lock and key kind of puzzle.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there a map?
Does it have a good map?
Yeah,
exactly.
You can unlock a map in each new area. It's segmented into different. There's like a city area. There's a jungle area. It doesn't unlock the map automatically. You have to find. There's like a guy who sells maps that you have to go find, and it's really cool. He's like humming, and you can see little like pieces of the map on the ground, and you'll hear doo 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 doo. And you have to go figure out where he's hidden. But that's like a little audio cue to let you know that he's nearby, which is kind of cool.
Hiding yourself doesn't seem like a good a strategy for map
Yeah,
sales.
if you're trying to get new customers, that's not the best way to go about it. But
he combined his two passions, hide and seek and selling maps.
yeah, exactly. Maybe he's trying to find new areas that he needs to put onto his map.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Company's in the red, but hey, he's having a good time.
And the map doesn't necessarily show every area in the world, just like if you're playing a Metroid game, there are still areas that you can expand out into that aren't shown on the map until you go to them. Although those areas don't appear on the map until you go back to a save point. Save points are these little benches throughout the world, and the benches allow you to save. They also update your map with the places you've been to that weren't indicated yet. That's where you can put charms on yourself to give yourself different abilities and things like that. So that's a little different from Metroid in that, these different abilities you can't change unless you're at a save point.
People rave about this game, and I believe them, and I believe you, but at the same time, I don't want games to hold my hand, but I also want them to respect my time. And I don't want to be I don't want them to not only not tell me where to go, but not even give me a map up front. And then if I want to change stuff out, I have to find a bench. That just sounds tedious. It sounds like it's adding filler almost.
Well, the Dark Souls aspect, from what I understand, comes from the fact that if you die, you have to return to your body to collect your money.
I don't even want to do that.
You definitely have to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. It adds this sense of dread every time you die. I mean, which is something that in a lot of games is missing. You die and you get game over, and then you just try again. So I think, at least in my experience so far, it's been cool in that it adds a little bit of extra challenge and a reason to try not to die. I mean, you're playing a game. Obviously, there's every reason not to die, but you might die and then have to go traverse through this area, and you've lost all your money, and your energy gauge is reduced until you go back to the area where you died, and that can be frustrating if you haven't seen the save point in a while.
Yeah, I don't like
I've
that.
definitely been frustrated a few times.
I don't like punitive style challenges. I don't like games that punish you for not getting it right. Because even with permadeath, right, in Fire Emblem, if you turn that off, the game's not less challenging in the sense that you still have to finish the map. You still have to overcome that challenge. You're just not punched in the mouth while you do it.
Yeah.
And I guess it doesn't sound like this is. Some of it sounds appealing, but the rest I actually don't think this game's for me.
Yeah.
I will say I love dying in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because there's zero repercussions. You literally spawn right from the last major mark you were at, and that's it. It could go die on the same enemy over and over, and nothing. Which is good actually, because it's sometimes when you're wandering around the world, there would just be a level 97 fucking
just
dinosaur
out of nowhere.
Yeah, just runs at you and eats you in one hit.
Yep.
Jesus Christ,
That sounds awesome. Question
That's
mark.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I do like this design. Like I said, I think it adds a little more challenge and gives that sense of dread as you're trying to get back to where you were. But that's not to say I always love it. And if it's something that seems like it's not up your alley, then it's probably not going to be. It's probably something that's going to frustrate you.
It's a shame because I like Metroidvania style action adventure games. I like that kind of gameplay, but the rest of it just not for me.
Yeah.
I'm in once this hits like limited run games or something because I know it's going to.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know that it's the best Metroid style game I've ever played, like a lot of people were saying on the internet. Although, with the size that this game is supposed to be, I mean, I've got a ways to go. But it's definitely something I'd like to pick up a hard copy of when it comes to limited run.
You have to wait
games
through.
or
They're
wherever
going
it
to
ends
publish like 15 Weeby Otome games between now and then.
I know, that's why I didn't wait, and I just downloaded it.
They publish way more games, but I feel like a lot of them are like,
Yeah, they took on too much, and they took on too many like not great games, just like very middling games. And I think they've admitted that, so I think they're trying to course correct at some point. But
I mean, maybe they did that because there's some financial value for them, but.
Right.
I mean, because like I signed up for like their emails, and this is back when they like sent like one email a month, like as a reminder, like this halfway decent game comes out next Friday, and now I get like 5 emails a fucking week, like reminding me about some stupid puzzle game I've never even heard of.
Yeah, their emails campaign are definitely, but it's good. Works out sometimes because I forgot Thumper was coming out today, and I was able to get that.
Oh, right on. That's a good game.
Yeah.
I've never ordered anything from them. I should get on their email list so that I know when they actually release things.
It's just like Fridays.
Yeah.
Whatever Friday.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm
enjoying it. I'm going to play some more, and I've heard that there is like a turning point where it gets better. Not to say that it's not good, but where, it really turns into that, best game ever or whatever you want to say. There seems to be like a story in the background, which it's kind of cool that it's in the background and it's not like in your face. You'll encounter characters and they'll say all kinds of weird things, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but it doesn't matter. You can keep going, and they're not really. It doesn't bother you moment to moment. The story is not that engaging, at least yet, which I think is good. I'd rather focus on the gameplay. So I dig it. But that's all I've been playing this week, or the last few weeks, really.
All right.
Talk about some news.
Do we do news now? I don't remember like the order that this
Yes,
podcast
we do
goes
news
in.
now.
I wasn't even here last week, so don't look at me.
And we didn't do news because you weren't here.
Oh.
We're like,
we
not
blew
doing this
off
shit.
news completely.
I mean, I knew
last
that because I definitely listened to the episode. So
You didn't, did you?
no, I didn't.
All right, good.
I'm a monster. They put out Breath of the Wild Link and the Master Cycle Zero and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's pretty cool, right?
Yes. Are they get like at least like as far as them updating this game goes? Now I'm like kind of hopeful that they're gonna add new courses and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
alluded
like
to that.
Yeah, I'm not like, oh man, this is the thing I've been waiting for. But like, it's a cool thing that they added that will get me to jump back into the game for a little bit. Because I played a lot of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe when it first came out on Switch, and I haven't touched it for a while. But this seems like a nice excuse to jump back in. So I hope they do more things like this.
They should. I don't know. They should do like games as a service type stuff with it, like some events or something to get people to like play during events and stuff.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like a Splatfest, but for Mario Karting. I would be into
That'd be
something
cool.
like
They
that.
do that with ARMS, but I don't really think that a lot of people pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because
People
ARMS
still play
fucking
ARMS.
rules. I don't play that. I love that game. Even I don't play it that much. But when I pop it in, I'm like, fuck, I love this game. Why don't I play this game more?
Yeah. Did I like ARMS? I played a bunch of ARMS when it first came out,
It's good.
and I liked it. Especially, I like all like the local co-op online options that they have. Like if you have another person with you, you could still like do a bunch of stuff online together,
Yeah.
and that was really fun.
The weekend party things, I forget what they call them. I think it's something party. I don't remember.
Yeah, party arms, arm parties.
Arm party, whatever.
Arm
yeah.
parties.
Those
That
are really
sounds
good.
like you just made it up.
No,
You may not have, but
100%
it sounds like it.
It's like block party or
parties.
something. I don't know.
Nintendo's arm parties.
But those are really
don't
good.
skip
They're
skip
really
leg
fun.
day and don't skip arm parties.
yeah, exactly.
I didn't play much of ARMS. Didn't get its hooks in me. Sorry, guys. In other good news, ArenaNet fired 2 employees because people on the internet are turds. Maybe.
Maybe there's no maybe about those turds.
I was reading your description, Craig. Okay.
Oh, that's yeah. The internet is bad? Question mark.
There was a writer on Guild Wars 2, Jessica Price, had a Twitter thread talking about writing for MMOs. And the difference between writing characters for single-player games versus MMOs, and trying to balance, having a personality, but also just being a vessel for players. And somebody responded and tried to, explain how they could do it better, and she kind of got angry because it seems like people on the internet, and specifically women on the internet, get condescended to a lot. And this might have just been, the straw that broke the camel's back in that situation. And she responded basically saying, allow me, a person who does not work for you, to explain to you how to do your job. And then called such people rando asshats and said she was going to insta-block anybody, etc. And one of her coworkers tried to defend her, and the Reddit got pissed, and eventually they both got fired, saying that this didn't represent the company, and they were attacking the community, which is not exactly how everybody sees it. But what do you guys think of this?
Absolutely do not see it that way. I hate this idea that that every conversation, if it's couched in politeness, is in good faith. Because at one point I did have a very slight, tiny modicum of internet celebrity, and there's a lot of voices who come at you all at once. And it's really hard to parse all that. And for each one of those voices, they think that they are one person talking to one person. But from your perspective, it's a gajillion people talking at one person when you didn't ask for their feedback at all.
Right.
And I'm sure it's probably very frustrated as a professional to get actually'd by some fucking rando nerd who doesn't have your job, who doesn't have those credentials online, and then wrap it up with a smiley face at the end. That's probably super fucking irritating.
I would imagine it is.
And her first response to him was not nice, but it wasn't particularly mean. It was kind of dismissive, I think is the right word for it.
Right, I would agree.
And then he kind of fired back, and then there was this exchange, and she voiced agitation. And
right. Yeah, we did not go over. I did not go over the entire thread,
yeah.
But it gets the idea across.
And then ArenaNet apparently knew about all this. They knew about that she was getting bombarded online after this, because it wasn't just this one dude. After this exchange, there was a ton of people coming at her, and ArenaNet went don't know, and then they just turned around and fired her, and fired the dude who defended her online.
Right.
And the first problem with this is that, number one, it's every employee has to, every person has to toe the company line online, no matter what, in any circumstance. You are always and perpetually a capitalist tool when you're online. And even when you're talking about your profession in a general sense, your work, your craft, the work that you do, not even necessarily as it pertains to ArenaNet, the company, just your efforts, you have to toe the company line. To me, that's kind of fucked up in a way.
Yeah.
And the other problem is it shows, it went on to show that nerd doofuses online can get people fired because they're mad.
Yeah.
This customer's always right mentality, because I say they because it's just a sort of amorphous group of people, gamer gators, channers, what have you, started sending form letters to all kinds of developers that have female employees online. And some of these companies noticed that the form letters glitched out and instead of the employee's name, it would say it had %sign female name in capital letters. It was like a placeholder.
Oh God.
And that's what they were doing. They were just bombarding, like, oh, it worked once. Let's try to get everyone fired. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I can guarantee that if this was a dude who said the exact same thing, I mean, obviously it's not a nice or polite thing to say, but who fucking cares? You're mad at a person. If it was a guy developer who said this, like, the shitstorm of trying to get this person fired would not have happened.
No, absolutely not.
Like, and ArenaNet needs to be more lax with their fucking rules on what people. I mean, can you imagine if Platinum Games did this, where every time Kamiya went off on Twitter?
I mean, there's a perfect example. There's a dude who does worse, as far as I'm concerned, and we're like, fuck yeah, Kamiya, and you know, a woman goes, fucking dudes, and she gets fired.
Yeah,
messed up.
And it sucks because I think one of the best things about things like Twitter, which can be a complete shithole at times, but you get access to people like this. You know, when I was growing up, when we were growing up, you know, we didn't have access to developers. We didn't have people posting, you know, that you could reply to, and we're telling you about the process of making these games. Like, and things like this happening are just going to discourage that. You know, there's if you're going to get fired for trying to put something out and getting piled on and responding to that, like, why are people going to go out and try to do things like this? You know, they're going to go back into the cave and just make the game.
Right, particularly in a human way. Like, do you want humans to tell you about the work or not?
Yeah.
But, like, what I don't understand is, like, where people, like, determine in their heads that the person that they're replying to gives a flying fuck what they have to say. And I mean, I'm not saying that to be like an asshole. Like, I follow developers. I very rarely tweet at someone outside of, like, my personal social circle. I'm following them to read those thoughts. I'm not following them to talk to them. They don't give a flying shit. They have tens of thousands of followers.
Right.
What I say don't matter, and I'm not going to bother them with that shit. There's no dialogue here. In some cases, Twitter is not a conversation. It's dictatorial. They are putting a thought out there. You read it. You like it or you don't like it, and you unfollow them or whatever. You move on with your life. There's no conversation. I don't know why you got to talk to them.
Yeah.
I just don't like that it's empowering fucking assholes that are going to abuse this kind of shit further.
Well, on a similar note, James Gunn got removed.
He
got removed from Guardians of the
did.
Galaxy Volume 3. And this one's, you know, there's a lot of nuance to this one. He said some shitty stuff, for those that don't know. He said some shitty stuff on Twitter 10 years ago. I don't know what it was. Apparently some jokes about pedophilia and rape. That's my understanding. I don't know what the tweets were. I didn't go looking for them. And apparently they were abhorrent. But a few years later, he acknowledged that they were shitty. He apologized for them. And we've since moved on. It's been a decade.
It's been a decade, and, like, James Gunn started off working for fucking Troma, who, you know, made such great movies as fucking Cannibal the Musical and Class of Nukem High, and, like, James Gunn got his start in schlock, cheap fucking outrageous, you know, like, stuff that is very much in line with these sorts of things. And this was, like, it's not like Disney didn't know where this guy came from, you know? And these tweets weren't, like, hidden or anything. And they've been talked about. He's apologized. Like, everything. It's, like, happened a decade ago.
Yeah. And, you know, he's not only apologized, but it seems like as a person he's tried to, I don't know, atone, but certainly grow from it.
Right.
I think he's definitely, like, a good dude. He's not, like, a shitty person in any way, shape, or form. Like, I've seen a bunch of his stuff. I've seen him working on a bunch of stuff. And in no way does this guy ever come across as, like, dismissive of fucking people, you know? In any sort of people.
I mean, that's a perfect example of what's supposed to happen when you say shitty stuff. Listen, I guarantee I said shitty stuff 10 years ago. There's no doubt in my mind. Whether it's on Twitter, you go through an old TV List podcast, it's somewhere. I said something fucking stupid. And
That we all did.
I'm sure, right?
People do.
And the idea here is you learn from it, you apologize, you try to do better, you put it behind you. That's the best anyone can do. And he did exactly that. He did exactly what you're supposed to do, and he did everything right. And Disney had to have known this about him, and then still fired him. I don't understand. And the worst part is Mike fucking Cernovich.
Yep.
Pizzagate.
It's scumbags who have said way worse things that brought this up.
Pizzagate asshole was the one who
He was a big
headed
yeah,
this
he was
up.
a big Gamergate guy and Pizzagate guy, and I hate that this gave him a sense of victory or satisfaction.
It's like a thin guise of they're like doing something for the good of, society or whatever, but really they're just fucking getting off on just being shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, it's in bad faith. It's not like, oh, we found this problematic person and brought it to their employer's attention. Like, the employer had to have known, and he's like this. It's completely bad faith. They went after him. Mike Cernovich, whoever, went after him because he regularly dogs on Trump. That's why.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No other reason. They're not concerned about the shit that he said 10 years ago.
No, not in the slightest.
We got to have dialogues about the sorts of things that people say. I mean, I'm all for pointing out when people say things that are troublesome, and I'm all from learning from that and having dialogues about this. But this is,
I mean, especially if you could point to like anything recent,
Right.
and stuff that he hasn't already acknowledged and apologized for, and this is like stuff that happened so long ago that he's acknowledged was like not great stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. What do you want him to do? He's
And-
apologized.
and-
He's acknowledged that he stopped doing it.
I mean, and the acknowledgments are like from like 8 and 7 years
Right.
ago,
Yeah, it was from
Right.
while he was making Guardians of the Galaxy 1 in like 2011 or 2012. Like, come on.
it seems like there's a certain corner. It's not even a corner anymore. It's got to be bigger than that. It's just part of the internet just acts in really bad faith. It's almost like they want to portray like they're playing by the rules. Like, I'm the customer and you should respect me. Or like, James Gunn said something mean 10 years ago. Like, it's almost like they're operating with a thin veneer of on the level, but it's not. Like, they're operating almost by the rules, but not quite. Like just infuriatingly short of the rules.
and it's systematic. They're like getting it down to a science. Like they know exactly how to present everything.
Yes.
They're getting better and better at it, and I don't know. It's shitty. It's shitty to empower these shitty people.
Try not to be a jerk to people online, and try to accept that when someone tries to improve themselves, and it's been 10 years, maybe give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't know.
Now I'm just worried about Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I know.
That's a shame. Think about, he seemed to really enjoy making those movies, too.
Yeah.
Oh, they were like super personal too, and like all the little touches and everything he's throwing into them. Yeah,
right.
those are like 100%.
Especially the second movie. That was that basically talked about, that was basically about fatherhood and toxic masculinity, inherited toxic masculinity, Like that was a story in that. I mean, I barely remember much about that movie, but certainly that was the theme.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a shame to work towards something that you love and have it be taken away from you because of bad faith actors.
It's gross.
Yeah. Especially after Disney hires actual fucking pedophiles to make movies like Powder and shit.
How is Johnny Depp still employed by Disney? How is Johnny Depp still getting a paycheck from anyone? Oh, that's because he didn't make a joke 10 years ago. He just beat the shit out of his wife. That's all. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Fucking. See, that's exactly, and that's exactly like how you just know that these people are just going after people who just piss them off politically.
Yes.
Yep.
Because nobody cares about shit like that,
Oh, I know. Never mind the fact that those Pirates movies fucking sucked after the first one. I mean, I don't know why he's still employed based on that alone, but
They make money, Craig. It's because they make
I
money.
don't know who's going to see those movies.
Seriously, who's going to see Pirates 5 like 10 years after they made another Pirates movie? Ugh.
That's a good question. I don't know anybody who saw the last Pirates movie.
I sure didn't.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, before I get even more riled up, I got unemployment benefits riling me up. I got douchebags on the internet riling me up. Do we have any more news?
I don't.
That's
we miss anything?
all for news.
Did you do any mailbag stuff this episode, Seth?
Listen, Craig.
What did you bring to the table
did-
this episode?
I brought my sweet and shining personality.
And it took us a while for that even to get here.
That's
Don't remember
true. Yeah.
how to mailbag. Yeah, no.
Make something up.
I'll be okay. Dear TV and Lust.
That's not us.
Dear TV and Lust, why haven't you recorded a new podcast in 6 years?
Dear Ludowave Radio, why are you so good? That's a good question, Kathy from Kathy Wood.
I'll let you guys answer this one because it's clearly I don't have an answer to it.
It's all Craig. I mean, it's just like 90% Craig.
We're just your average podcast, like three white heterosexual males.
Listen, I did a Spanish intro so you would
I was gonna
stop.
say, listen, I'm not entirely white.
Oh man, I took 3 courses of community college so I could do that intro.
It's impressive.
Community college Spanish. All right, and I passed 2 of them. So, oh my
And I
God.
did that somber artwork, and she's Spanish.
She's something
More multicultural.
Colombian.
Is she? I don't know. I think she's actually. I think her related map is Dorado. I think she's Spanish. She speaks Spanish. Her.
Yeah, well, I got news for you, Craig.
Well, a lot of countries speak Spanish. You're right. That's true.
A lot of those countries speak Spanish. I'm looking this up because I just need to.
All right, we're gonna wait on this. What country
Yeah.
is?
She's Mexican.
Is she really?
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Look at you. You don't know shit.
I don't. Because none of these characters, like, stories are in the fucking game. All you're doing in the game is just shooting a gorilla in the face, and, like, that's the game. And you don't know anything about the story. You have to go digging for that shit.
Is there not a story mode now or something? Or is that...
During some
why?
events, there are cooperative modes, you know, where you take on AI enemies with 3 other people, and there's sort of like a story component to it. But it doesn't necessarily give you any, like, a lot of, like, character development or anything.
Mm.
There's, like, a cutscene, and then you mow down waves of bad guys, and, like, that's it. Like, that's the story mode.
Well, and maybe the cutscene's like Sombra going, "I'm from Mexico," and then she goes and shoots people.
Wait, is Dorado in Mexico? I thought that was in...
Is Dorado a real place? No, well, like... Dorado means gold, right? So
I
that's
don't know, yeah.
like the whole Dorado thing,
Oh.
with the conquistadors and going to Mexico.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I guess I thought I was in Spain. Well, that's... Shame on me for not knowing shit, I guess.
Yeah, look at you.
You're saying
Dumbass.
stupid things on the internet.
Did you watch the DreamWorks cartoon Road to El Dorado, Craig?
No, sir.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I don't believe you.
It's super good. Everybody thinks it's good. That's our second mailbag. Our second mailbag says, "Hey guys, don't you think Road to El Dorado is super good?" And yes, I do.
I'm gonna have to pass on answering that one.
Have you've seen it, Chris?
I have not seen it.
Oh my god, you fucking uncultured swine.
Oh, I like how, like, determining whether we have culture or not is like is a bunch of white people making a movie about El Dorado. Like, that determines whether we have culture or not.
Well, that's how you know. You would know. You would know where Sombra was from if you had seen this
No,
movie.
that's true. Yeah.
Anyway. Everybody, this has been the Road to El Dorado podcast. I recommend you watch Road to El Dorado. It's a very good movie.
Oh, God.
Is that going to be our topic next week? Remember when we did
It's
topics
right.
that one time?
Did we?
I feel like we fill a podcast without topics.
We don't need fucking topics.
We do need a mailbag, though, you lazy fuck.
All right, I was going to do it at lunch. Well, first of all, I didn't even know if we were recording this week until yesterday. And then I went to sleep and didn't even see you guys saying that we were until I woke up today.
I feel like
forgive me for responding to an email at 5:30 in the morning.
Well, yes,
that's on me.
Forgive it.
I feel like the assumption is we record every 2 weeks unless Chris bows out, right? That's the metric, right?
To be fair, pretty frequent.
But I mean, sometimes the bowing out is like the day of, and I don't even know what's going to happen.
I assume until Chris says, "Hey guys, me and Jackie are going out. We're going to Disneyland." I assume we're recording until that email comes in.
See what happens. Chris should have told us Jackie was out of town, and then we would have known that we were recording.
You know what? Actually, I don't even think that's a guarantee. I don't think that makes us safe.
You know, the mailbag, when I post it is irrelevant, since we don't even have topics these days. I can just post it whenever.
They can just
and
ask us anything,
stuff.
right?
So just post it whenever.
Listen,
I'm gonna post one, just collect 20 things and just dole them out.
we don't have that many followers, so I don't think you're going to get that many things. So listen,
I could get 20.
Oh, okay. Listen, listeners, prove me wrong. You can follow us on Twitter at Ludowave Radio. We're on Facebook at Ludowave Radio there as well.
Tell us what you think of the Road to El Dorado.
Can we not talk about this fucking movie?
No, we have to talk about it. That's the whole point of the podcast.
Has
correct?
DreamWorks ever done anything good?
Road to El Dorado. Oh my god!
I feel like people latch onto these movies that are more popular now than they were when they came out.
I'm going to tell you,
Dark
90%,
Crystal, Labyrinth. Fuck those movies. Those movies sucked then, and they suck now, and I'm tired of hearing about it.
I liked Dark Crystal when I was little. It was terrifying, but I liked it. Labyrinth I did not see until a decade ago, and that movie was horrible, and I loved it because it was just the right amount of horrible.
Just the right amount of David Bowie balls.
Exactly. David Bowie's crotch made that movie watchable. I'm not even going to lie. I was enthralled on when its next appearance was going to be. I was like, oh, got to see that Goblin King bulge. It's going to come up soon. Are they going to frame it? Are they going to do a low frame panning upwards to brunette chick? I can't even think of her name right now. Let's hope that David Bowie's crotch is going to be all in this movie, and it was A+ movie.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
anyways.
Let's not. What did we talk about last episode? Your puby beard or something? We don't need to drag these episodes out like this.
All right. No, we do, because this is where the real conversation
listeners,
comes in.
they come for the video games and stay for the beard talk. I don't know. Well, I want to thank everyone for listening. You can find us on our home, SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Ludowave Radio. We're also available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher. Please review us. It is very helpful. Maybe we even start, we should start reading reviews on the air. So, right?
I could do that.
Give us interesting reviews to read. That benefits both of us. We will read your crazy ass review. And it also makes us look good by having more reviews in iTunes, so that'd be good.
Write us a review telling us what you think of the Road to El Dorado.
Please. Please. I'm going to, 90% of the reason people like that movie is because it has a sexy girl in it. I'm not...
A sexy cartoon
Isn't that
girl?
the reason 90% of people like any movie?
Yeah, well, there's a sexy cartoon girl, and everybody loves her. Watch the movie and find out all about the sexy girl.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And the children's movie.
So please review us, I guess. Like I said before, we are on Twitter and Facebook at Ludowave Radio. Our theme song is composed exclusively for us by Morning Moon and Mercury. You can find more of his stuff at morningmoonandmercury.bandcamp.com. TVandLust.com. You can find me, Craig. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV and Lust on everything. Seth, where can people find you? I swear to God, if you say at Road to El Dorado on Twitter,
Well, I'm not now, Craig. I'm on Twitter at Rotel Dorado. Yeah. No. Seth Gaston, it's my name. It's my name. Chris, where are you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at @eChrisDunn.
great, and we're out.